all our distinguished guests, all the organizers, all the awardees, and the jury which sat through to find out who should be awarded this time. It's a pleasure to be amongst you all. I'm supposed to say a few words. No, I know when you invite politicians, I'm not. So then few words is difficult to describe. Let me start by saying that this is a field which has been growing, and there's still a tremendous scope to grow. We were talking just before I entered the hall, and I said that the industry, the people who are working in it, people who are putting their brains to work out the type of technologies that are needed, need to aggressively leverage the benefits of this so that it can be utilized much more than what it is being utilized today. The scope is, I mean, you cannot even describe it. So many things are there on which it can be used. It is not restricted. And the more I think we work on it, the better it would be. A question always comes, we want an indigenous solution. Yes, everybody wants something which comes up. And let me just, as an illustrative example, quote what Norinco, China did, which today is one of the largest arms exporter from China. And it is one of the largest in the world today. The industrial base was very low. It was much far below what India had in 1949. But then what they decided was that as a country, they must do well and look at indigenous solutions. So they did reverse engineering. Ludhiana used to be very famous for that at one point of time. And by reverse engineering, what they got, which was not the latest, they converted something which they had into something which they could pass off as indigenous. Initial product was not good, so they gave it as gift to countries and improved their own product. And the time came that today they say we can make a stealth aircraft, we can convert a burnt out ship into aircraft carrier, and we can do A, B and C. And we all look at them and say, wow, China has gone places. Now, when you're looking at indigenous solution, it is not that everything immediately comes up from the country. After all, when Maruti came to India, everybody loved that car. Every component was Japanese. And even when a lot of parts were being manufactured in India, everybody used to say, oh, that first model was very good. Slowly things improved. Same is what the Tatas did. They gave you a car and everybody said, well, it is indigenous, it is not very good. It took time to improve. So when you're looking at indigenous solution, it has to be an amalgamation of technology that you borrow, of things that you make yourself, and then devise your own methodologies to convert the technology in something which is unique to the country. If that doesn't happen, then we will never get an indigenous solution. So we all say make in India. Make in India will happen. Make in India because each one of you who's sitting here, who's working in this field, has got enough brains to work out everything. Maybe you require a wherewithal, you require an environment, you require an industry that allows you to grow and to use your capabilities in a manner in which more money is required, where you can put in your best to produce something which is world class. Ultimately, what sells is what is world class. Second best never sells. Second best at best can last for few days till people discover that it is the second best. And your industry, this field is such that you require the very best. So I hope that all who are working in this field, all who are passionate about this field, all who feel that tremendous amount of work can be done in this field need to look at this, that ultimately we must reach that class where the world looks at us and not that we look at the world. It will take time. It will take time. And I heard this from somebody about a Soviet era where one day in the Kremlin there was a parrot which was flying around and saying, "Down with communism, down with communism, down with communism." The KGB was very unhappy about it. So they said, "Go and find out whose parrot it is." Ultimately they found the block in which the parrot's master lived, and they knocked at his door and said, "Mikhail, do you own a parrot?" And he said, "Yes sir, I own a parrot." "Will you get that parrot out? So we want to talk to the parrot." He said, "Of course." He went to his fridge, opened the freezer, took out the parrot, brought it to this KGB lieutenant who was there, and he said, "Here's my parrot." They were quite surprised, but they didn't ask him any questions. They asked the parrot, "What do you think of communism?" He says, "Communism is great." They asked him once again. They said, "Communism is great." So they left and they said, "Okay, I don't think this is the parrot which said all this." And they went away. Once they had gone, Mikhail turned to the parrot. He said, "Only half an hour in Siberia required you to change your views." So we don't have to go to Siberia to change our views. I think we have got a conducive environment in this country where your academic excellence, your scientific forte can get you what you want. Today the environment is right. Today the conditions are right, and it is all on you now to ensure that we are the best in this field. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.